This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Let's call the meeting to order. Did everyone did everyone receive the agenda?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, well, I appreciate Janet giving me another lift today because I'm still having troubles with the multiple town accounts. So thanks, Janet. All right, open time for the public is the way we always begin. I do see, hi Terry. Are you attending as a guest or do you want to use this time as open time for the public for any input you have, or are you just going to join us today?
Well, I was wondering about the meeting that we had, the last meeting, which was the committee. Has that run it to completion now? And then you're just doing the housing authority separate?
Not exactly, because Ken's tonight, so.
Well, I was just I thought we were going along on that, but if not, that's understandable. Okay.
It's on the agenda, Terry, to review the housing production plan.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess I'm just a guest.
Well, an active guest, and we're pleased to have you.
Well, thank you, Jim.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure, we have this set agenda item that all meetings have where the public is invited to participate. If they have any issues they want to discuss, we try to address those right away because sometimes people have busy schedules and they need to move on, not attend the whole meeting. So that's why I started off that way. That's all. Didn't mean to imply anything other than that. Just put that front and center.
Understood.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Approval of the previous minutes. Did folks receive those? Members receive those, I'm sorry, and have a chance to review them? Any comments or? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve?
Can I make a motion to approve the minutes I wrote, I guess?
Well, I'm going to say it's okay, at least until someone tells me otherwise. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Sorry, I was just finishing reading them, but they look good to me.
Okay. All right, let's do a voice vote then.
Kane, aye.
Simmons, aye.
Sini, aye. It is unanimous. They're accepted. Perfect. All right. So that means we can move right into the I put finalize the HPP, but that might be a little too optimistic. I think we're close. Welcome, Ken. But the floor is yours, sir.
Great. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, everyone. So since the last meeting, I have updated the plan, and really it was to add updated data that Janet had shared with regards to updated census data for some data sets. And these data sets I have learned since are particular to the redistricting effort. So really it's data sets that are more related to population, race, and some housing. It's not a complete data set, but I felt that it was appropriate to at least update those parts that made sense to update. So particularly, it's the population characteristics. So all of these new percentages are based on 2020 data. We had this curious piece over here, which was the Southampton Hispanic or Latino population, which now is determined at 3.31%. And some of the other percentages have changed since the last census for both Hampshire County and Massachusetts. So the white population has gone down 1 or 2% since the last census, with some of these other percentages also declining. the Hispanic population or those that identified as Hispanic or Latino did go up. So that was one of the areas where I updated the census data. Additionally, if we, Jenna had brought up a comment with regards to this particular section of the community overview in chapter 2, which I added a little blurb about the context of open space, particularly not necessarily drawing attention to those two specific places of interest, I guess, that may have existed from a previous plan, but instead understanding that the town has taken interest in ensuring protection of parcels that it has identified to protect, but at the same time understanding that that may pose some further conversation with regards to how to develop housing and how that falls within that conversation. So that was updated since the last meeting. In addition to that, population age also was changed from the last meeting. These are new numbers based on the 2020 census. Again, all of these other data sets that are listed with the source are specific to the American Community Survey 5-year estimates. The interesting part is that I think one of the data people at PVPC said by the summer, new American Community Survey 5-year estimates are going to come out, but maybe even before the census data. It's weird. So the estimates obviously are done differently than the census, but we haven't gotten all the census data. But at the very least, we have updated this plan to include all of the census data that has been updated and that are included in here. The other area where the census data was included, and I wanted to address this, and this is why this is in yellow. This is specific to the way that the housing data and the occupancy ratios for the adjacent towns in Hampshire County were quantified in the census. If you recall, if you take a look at this particular chart, which we were using 2019 American Community Survey 5-year estimates, it broke down between owner occupied and renter occupied. The new 2020 census data, at least with the data sets that have been provided by the Census Bureau, don't include owner occupied versus renter occupied. I was looking at previous plans that PVPC has done. This happened to be one way that it was presented. This happened to be in another presentation of the data with regards to occupancy. So I don't know if, whether, the committee wants to include or feels the need to suggest that maybe there's a difference of the way that it's presented. Janet?
Yeah, I guess the biggest change for me is the vacancy number. Right? I mean, we had 0 vacancies in the previous one, and now we have, is that 10%? I need to get
4.
4%. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So no, you're right. And so you're drawing attention to the fact that now it probably makes more sense. And this probably makes more sense within the context of you're not going to have a 0% vacancy rate in Southampton. So, I think we can probably just remove this chart and this introductory paragraph and replace with this yellow sentence or 2 sentences and this particular data set.
I mean, I don't know how everybody else feels, Ken. That's just my perspective, so. And I don't intend to speak for the whole group. I don't know how other people feel, so.
Okay, well, we'll
And I also meant to mention, Sarah sent me a message. She had a 4:30 meeting, so she's hoping to join us eventually. So.
okay. And so the other thing really that was changed since the last meeting was waiting for this, which was the numbers that Joy, I think, emailed the accountant on what these budgets look like at the moment. I was looking again at another previous plan. The Southampton plan in 2011 included an up-to-date accounting based on the time that the report was written at the time. Other plans just say that Community Preservation Act funds can be used for housing. Does it make sense for the town to put, the balance here? I guess I leave it to the town. Whether or not that makes sense to include here. I don't not necessarily know if it adds anything other than there may be some unspent funds, or the fact that you have monies in the account that could be useful in in this committee's or in this the housing authority's charge of trying to figure out how to utilize Community Preservation Act funds to support affordable housing development.
Did we get an update on this 115,000? Was Joy able to find anything out?
I didn't get any.
I believe I can look back. This was a couple weeks ago, but Virginia did email me and she said she did believe that was a reference to the CPC fund.
The 1 million, 1.7 million.
Oh, the
No, yeah, there's definitely not 1 million. What did we think it was? 100?
Well, the 115,757 was the number that was in this at that time.
Yeah, she said that maybe I didn't hear back from the treasurer, but I'm sorry, let me pull up my email.
Yeah, so to clarify, the 115,000 was whatever was in the town's coffers for the affordable housing fund. The 1.7 million was in the 2020 annual report state that there were that amount of money in community preservation funds.
So 115,000 is, the question is what affordable housing fund? I think that was our question at the last meeting.
Yeah, hold on. Let's see. Virginia stated, I wish I could give you a definite answer. It sounds about right. That would be the total amount in the fund controlled by a CPC. I don't know of any other funds. I would have to go to town hall and check what might be in reports. The current balance, though, is over $400,000
For housing.
for housing.
But there's also undesignated that could be used, but I mean. So the question is there another affordable housing fund that?
I don't know if the almoner, if it was, she
That
also mentions the almoners were given some funds years ago to help people stay in their homes. I know there are some of those funds still with them, but a lot of what they do is confidential. So I don't know, but is the almoners considered town funds?
Well, that certainly wouldn't be considered affordable housing fund.
Yeah.
I just don't want to put anything out there that's not quite accurate.
So Virginia didn't know, and I haven't heard back from the treasurer. So
Okay.
I can go
I
to town hall and double check.
Yeah, I think it probably is worthwhile to suggest that, we should get up-to-date numbers or attempt to, however, long that takes. But I think because it's important to understand that monies may have been given from community preservation to an affordable housing trust or an affordable housing fund, or monies from CPC to go to affordable housing, depending on what your community preservation plan suggested back when you determined that, and what that looks like, particularly as you continue to move forward on this. I think there was one of the, I just made some small editorial things where Janet found a Board of Selectmen. I believe I found that and put in Select Board. And then let's see, I made an update to, let's see here. Appendix A, which I just added a sentence here. However, developability has not been determined for all of these parcels. That was the comment that Janet had made with regards to, we identified the municipally owned parcels, but we haven't, the town hasn't yet identified the ability to develop them. And those conversations would happen, you know, later. And that was it with regards to the updates. I think, and I don't know if there are any outstanding comments from the committee, but I'm happy to put this into a package share as we're still waiting for that data. Be ready to put that data in or put that amount of money in. But I think what I can do is, if the committee feels like, you know, most of the, if not all, that you feel comfortable submitting this to the state for an initial review, to do that. Because that way we can get comments and address any comments from the state if we're missing anything. But that would be my, you know, because I think it's just trying to figure out that particular section, unless you think that there's, you know, some items missing.
So Ken, to clarify, you're saying that we can send in a high-level draft form that is meaty enough that they'll accept it and give us feedback. And so, giving the timeliness of that, we probably should do that, even though there's some small details missing.
Yeah, and I think that, yes, I think as we did with the open space plan, that's what we did. We had a high-level review. There were some significant comments that we had to go through with the open space plan, but just, you know, making sure that they're able to inventory everything that they need to, and if there are additional comments, you know, we can figure out with the committee, once we get those comments, how to address them and where to go from there. But I do think that, you know, the minor aspect of just making sure that the accounting right is in that particular section, I think can be done, you know, once the, you know, the state review has happened, because we're going to want to bring that to the town for planning board approval and select board approval anyway.
And do we want to post it for?
Yeah, I think we can post it on the town website too, as we did with the OSRP. So I don't think that, you know, there's no significant pieces missing from this. So I think this can be reviewed by the state for completion at the very least. And if there are any editorial comments that they would like to make and have the committee address, then we can go from there. I think we can also share with the community. And then once we get the comments, once we've addressed at least the, if there happens to be comments from the state, then get it before the planning board and the select board.
So I'd like to make a motion to forward this plan as is to the state for feedback and validation.
Seconded.
Excellent, excellent. Let's take a member vote. Voice vote, please.
Kane, I.
Simmons, aye.
Sini, aye. It's unanimous. Excellent.
So what I'll do is I'll I'll just PDF this and I'll copy you in that email to the state. So assuming that, Jim, I will copy you. Assuming that, you know, that I don't know how long it takes. I haven't worked with DHCD with regards to initial comments, but I don't, you know, my interaction with them in the past have been pretty quick. So hopefully within the next 2 or 3 weeks, if this gets out, you know, by the end of the week.
Perhaps by the time we meet again.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be great. I hope that's the case.
Hmm.
I know how to keep on top of them too. So there's that.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm happy to send, you know, I know Joy's working on it, but I mean, as a member of the Housing Authority too, send an email to Ed and to Jen and even to Bradley, just to get clarification of this number. Or find out if there is actually anything called an affordable housing trust that or fund that exists in town.
I think, yeah, so I think what the context of that is that because you can spend a certain amount of Community Preservation Act funds on housing, on affordable housing, if there happens to be a set aside for that.
There is.
Okay, what that number looks like. And then we just clarify with the language that we have in the.
Joy, did you get a number from Virginia for the housing only?
Yeah, only for the housing.
Okay. And what was that number? I know she said over 400,000, but that's not a number. That's
Yeah, she didn't specify. That was.
I have a couple
The
questions.
latest budget report on CPA funds.
yes, if it's up to date. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it'll show me both of those numbers and I can send them over. How about
Okay.
that?
Good.
Cool. Maybe you'll know the answer to my questions here, but well, it's actually two parts. One is, are funds automatically put into this housing account or whatever each year at the time of annual collections into CPC,
Yes.
an automatic percentage?
Yes.
That's why it keeps growing.
Yes.
Second question, if there's a project, I think Ken hinted at this, but if we have a project or something related and we want more than that percentage, can we solicit from either CPC or through town meeting? I don't know how that works. A greater percentage. Is that possible?
I think, I mean, I have to be town meeting. I'm guessing, you know, when they established how CBC would be split up, I think there was a percentage per like undesignated open space and recreation, housing. I don't know if maybe we can get that percentage number from Virginia.
Yeah, you can change anything with town meeting. I'm working the town of Pelham, and they have a 40B developer that is not, it's not a friendly 40B, but they have a 40B developer that has come to town and was asking the town for a level of support and put it before the town meeting of $200,000 of Community Preservation Act funds as a, you know, as an item for, you know, their monetary support of the project to develop affordable housing in town. Depending on who you talk to in town, obviously there are different factions with regards to that sentiment, but yeah, I think you can. I don't necessarily know all of the nuances, but I think as, you know, that's probably something that your, you know, Community Preservation Committee and Select Board and the town meeting would have to determine in some form.
Okay, so follow-up question, excuse my ignorance, but are there state laws that mandate these percentages, or is this something CBC set up initially? You know, certain percentage toward open space, certain percentage toward housing.
There happens to be a state law that that allows the town to set up what those percentages are.
It's the Community Preservation Act.
Yes.
Okay.
And all of the fun answers to your questions are in that act.
Okay.
Most of them are.
Including any potential to change those percentages.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, Sarah.
Thanks, Jim. Sorry I'm late, everybody.
No worry. You're just the meeting maven, I'm hearing, so.
Yeah, we had our first meeting of the Public Safety Committee, so.
So Sarah, the committee made a motion for me to send. I went over a couple of the changes that we had talked about since the last meeting, which there have been some updates to the census. So now some new census data is in the plan, as well as just some clarification on some of Janet's points. We're still waiting for an up-to-date balance of what's in the Affordable Housing Fund for the community preservation monies.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to be doing now is just packaging this up and actually sending it to the state for a high-level review with regards to making sure that all of the pieces are in there and the components, and then hopefully by the next meeting in April, take it to start planning for it to go before the planning board and the select board. But what'll also happen is we'll put this, or we'll have Ed or whoever is doing the website put the housing production plan online for a community review with just comments, and then address it from there and go from there. But it's in a review phase where we'll at least get some initial comments from the state on what we'll need to address if we have to address anything.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for the recap.
I did have a question. I don't know where you are in the agenda, Jim. If I could use maybe some of this time just for a quick question.
I think you can, because we have a very brief agenda.
Okay.
So
And this was specific. So I met, this is a more of a report too, and I'm sure Sarah would have shared. I met with the planning board at the last meeting with regards to looking at the DLTA for this year, which is looking at zoning and some of those zoning tools that we had identified in the housing production plan to take another look at and start revising. And so I think we at least have an idea and a plan to get that, however it needs to get before the end of the year, because that's how the funding is going to work, similar to this project. But one of the questions that I had, understanding that Southampton was one of a few communities that received money from, I think it's MHP. Was it MHP or CHAPA? MHP.
Mass Housing Partnership.
What was that effort for? What are those funds that you received for?
Those funds are to begin the process for our housing trust.
Oh, great. So
Which is our next agenda item.
So creating the housing trust.
Yeah, so you can sit in on here about.
I would love to, because I'm
5 seconds.
having this discussion with multiple communities at the moment. So this is good for me too. Thank you.
Awesome. Gotta love it when those kind of synergies take place somewhat spontaneously. Nice. Okay. So that is our next agenda item, housing trust creation.
I'm sorry. Is Ken going to send that? Are you going to send that document to us, Ken, or did you and I missed it? The last updated.
No, I'm going to send it to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, are there any other questions on HPP? My bad.
I have to do it before I forget it. Sorry.
No, it's good. Okay. All right, so we will move on to housing trust creation, mass housing partnership next steps. Joy, I'm hoping you have some information for us.
I don't have anything like big substantive, but we do have a meeting scheduled. I don't know if everyone saw, but a meeting is scheduled for the, is it the 8th or the 9th, I believe. I put it on
Wednesday
my
morning
calendar.
Wednesday morning, Joy.
Yeah, Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. I need to put it on this calendar too. Between, I don't know who was able to go either.
I think Sierra and I are both, Sierra, are you still going?
I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm figuring that out right now. What time is it at?
It's at 9 a.m.
Yeah, I can make it to that, I think. Let me just double check my work calendar.
My exercise class ends at 9, so.
Yeah, I'm good. Yep, I can come to that.
With Shelley, who is the coordinator of I think the coordinator of the program, and then I think it's either Emily or Emma who will be, you know, the person really working with us. And we're going to go over a timeline and our goals set during that timeline. So I think that's it. I think that's our initial meeting. That's our first big step.
That's a huge step. This should be cause for celebration. Shelley Gehring
I
is
will
great.
celebrate when we have a housing trust, but yeah.
Right. But I think you'll find Shelley Gehring, she's really top notch in my opinion. And so this is a
You've
coup.
met her before?
Oh yeah.
She
Yeah?
presented
Okay.
to the select board. You probably weren't on the select board yet. But
No,
she
I wasn't.
presented to the select board about a year ago. So,
Okay, so just missed her, but
Yeah.
not really, because I'm gonna meet her on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, actually I'm pulling up we're gonna work on a scope of the work and create a draft timeline with next steps. So lots of big steps there.
It's exciting.
Where do I find the link for that meeting?
I will send it. You were on the email, but I can resend it to you.
yeah,
Just
there was an email, Sierra. There was
I'm
a,
not seeing it, but yeah, I think I might, if you could just resend it, that'd be helpful.
Sure. And I have resent it.
Thank you.
Nice.
So that's all for the MHP for now. Sorry, it's not more exciting, Ken.
I'm excited. I don't know, it's starting. So
That's exciting. I think it's exciting for the town. It's exciting, to hear that you've been working on this for so long. And when I heard of, we get to, because we follow MHP, we follow CHAPA, and, we have our housing people that have the pulse on what's happening around the region. When I saw Southampton, I said, wait, they did that on their own. That was something that's awesome. And so it definitely, any way that I can help, I'm happy to. With regards to that, if MHP is, because I am currently working on a bylaw for a community to adopt an affordable housing trust, I can share that as a resource that could be helpful. It's bylaw language, just to, it says this is how it happens. It's through the general bylaw. But that's, I'm happy to be a resource if I can.
That would be extremely helpful.
Indeed. Give us a template.
Sure.
Right.
As an attorney, I love templates. I'm always asking for templates. So yes.
As a federal bureaucrat, I love templates too. So.
Me too. What a bunch of dorks.
It's a committee of nerds.
You know what? We're dorks that get things done. Okay.
right,
We're the ones.
that was Sierra, just for the record.
Make sure you include that in the minutes, Jen.
Yes, can I quote you on that? Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Well, this has been, we're at the end of our meeting agenda, unless there are other items. But I have to say, this has been short, but very, very productive and very exciting. But that's just one person's opinion, mine. I don't know what you folks think. If you have thoughts, yes, Jen.
I think Sierra sent us an email today. It was too late to make the agenda, but from the Barron Cannon clan.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed
And
that.
I don't know if you want to read it in for the record.
Yes, I will read it in for the record and for everyone who did not hear it. So I checked in with him and Todd said, "Hi, Sierra. Bob Cannon and I sent a letter to the Southampton Housing Authority 2 weeks ago in which we said regretfully that we decided to stop pursuing the purchase and development of the Labrie parcel. Since our last email to you, we learned that the parcel is in Zone 2 of the Aquifer Protection Grid. This fact severely limited the number of units that might be built on the parcel, and it would require a private centralized sewage treatment plant to be built to service the development. Factoring in the projected cost of building and maintaining the sewage treatment plant, coupled with the limitation on units, the development cost became prohibitive. One further note, it's likely that the commercial parcels that would abut the development and which were not part of our proposed land purchase and housing development would have to be serviced by the sewage treatment plant we would have built for our development. We're available to discuss our findings if the Housing Authority wishes, and Bob and I remain committed to building affordable housing in our communities.
So, I mean, I think all Housing Authority emails come to my email now.
It wasn't an email.
I think it was probably a letter.
A letter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You haven't been to the mailbox. I think that's.
Not in the last couple of weeks. No.
Well, you know, we have been communicating with them via email, so how are we to know that we were going to get a letter?
Right.
Yeah.
That's okay.
exactly.
It's okay. All right.
Too
Well,
bad though.
So we had 2 or 3 opportunities and all kind of dwindled, which is.
I know. Has this been happening for years? Is this just like the whole story forever and ever?
So the East.
there is a
Street
trend,
property-
it seems. Go ahead, Janet.
The East Street property that we looked at, that Sarah and I met with Hilltown CDC on, that was in chapter, and then it had I thought an offer on it by a builder. The builder, to my knowledge, has pulled out of that. So, and I don't know why they pulled out. So it may mean we shouldn't go in, you know, but
I wonder if Paul Diamond might know the answer to that question.
I don't know. Yeah.
Interesting.
I can see if I can find anything out, you know, so.
I was gonna say, do you want me to email Paul or as chair to chair kind of thing?
Yeah, if he knows anything about it. It's a chapter thing, and so I don't know if. Sarah, have you heard anything about the East Street property? I don't know if that ever got to the planning board. I mean, it may be better, so I don't know.
I haven't, no. I'm trying to remember. I don't think so.
It didn't quite get that far.
No. I was just
Wow.
thinking if we had anything on East Street. I don't think so.
We're just gonna have to expand our borders into neighboring towns if we want more affordable housing property. Places in town keep coming up with problems. Maybe we should look further into the Middle Road property. That was something that, you know, we put it on hold because we had bigger fish to fry, but if those fish are back in the river, maybe we should look at that one again.
I mean, the feedback from the first eval wasn't great, but you know.
Yeah, but you know,
it's not, it
don't have a
wasn't
lot to
dead.
choose from.
Yeah.
Right. I recollect the issue with that property is access.
Mhm. But they said
Yeah,
it wasn't insurmountable.
No, it's not.
Wetlands in the front, because it's.
Wetlands in the front, and to get equipment back there to do perk tests to see if the back is perkable would require either right-of-way access from neighboring or some kind of, I don't know if waiver is the right word, to go through the wetlands to get there. And then I'm not saying we shouldn't try, but we have to figure out the logistics of this. If we can get back there to get the equipment to do perk tests, and if it's perkable, then the next step is, can we somehow get access to the wetlands to access the property?
That would be a Concom discussion, right?
And
Well, there's
would it-
That would
also
be so costly.
there's also that grant that we got partway through, the One Stop Community Fund one, and they were interested in determining the viability of empty properties. Although I'm just kidding. I remember that property was too small for them to care about. I just remember that. Because so you're saying we'd have to invest a lot of money before we even knew if it was
Worth it.
actually useful. So it's like, who's choosing to do that?
Right. You're
We can
rolling
just-
some pretty
yeah.
serious dice, hoping. Well, I don't think, to your point, Sarah, we should close that book necessarily. It's just trying to figure out if there's smarter heads than mine anyway, that can figure out ways to navigate that.
Yeah.
Because it does, to Joy's point, it does sound very expensive.
I wonder if there was some sort of joint activity we could do with the community preservation or open space committee. So, we could see like either this is going to be housing or it's going to be open space. We can invest this money to find out. I don't know if they'd be interested in that though.
I don't know how long it's been owned by the town. It's been a while, right?
I can
Yeah.
explore that.
Yeah.
All right, another option is, and I'm trying to visualize the property, but if we can get an abutter who can give us access back there.
And the other thing is Emmanuel.
That's a big ask, but it'd be
Okay,
cheaper. I'm sorry,
Hmm.
Janet.
And Emmanuel, your conversation with Emmanuel,
Mhm.
I don't know where he was or how serious he was, so.
I don't either. There's been nothing since. I think that conversation perhaps moves along further as we move along with the zoning changes.
Mm.
So Paul, when I chatted with him at Joy at the select board meeting where we both happen to be presenting back to back on our various committees for the quarterly update, the DLTA grant that planning board received to get some help, right, Ken, with looking at zoning and et cetera. That's where I think some possibilities, exist for the following up with Emmanuel. I think Emmanuel's is waiting to hear how are we going to do an overlay district? Is it going to be a mixed use? How are we going to do that?
Because it is not commercial, obviously, and he's looking at commercial on the bottom and housing on the top, so.
That would be one way to look at how it, you have a win-win.
Okay.
Other thoughts? A lot of things, a lot of wheels in motion here.
The one thing that's not on here that I didn't catch until this moment is that Sarah stuffed and I stamped 20 letters and that were mailed out over the weekend.
Recruitment flyers, yes.
Oh,
From
the
your
ongoing
selections on the
recruitment.
list.
Sarah stuffed and licked and I stamped. Right?
I use glue. We all saw that episode of Seinfeld.
You don't want to pull a George Costanza there.
No. It was Susan, actually. Yeah, well,
That's right. George wasn't too upset, as I recollect.
no, the callous. But I
Thank
would
you for
also
doing
say
that.
we can just keep going with that. So if you guys ever find yourselves just dying for something to do, you can look through and be like, oh yeah, let's send to these people. We can keep sending more.
Well,
I'd still like to ask Todd Barron if he'd be interested in joining housing.
Yeah, like, come on, Todd.
You want to drop him a line, Sarah, without a
Yeah.
stamp?
I feel like we've already made it really clear to him that we're looking for people. We sent him a flyer. We told him specifically, but I will keep asking him, see if, maybe he'll feel guilty and
I apologize for neglecting having this on. This should be almost a standing item, recruiting new members. So I have a suggestion, something I thought of. And I don't know if it's if town meeting state bylaws or whatever permit this, but could we set up a table or a booth at the town meeting to say, join the housing authority and have
Outside.
some of us sit there? Does it have to be like a polling thing so many feet from the entranceway or something like that? Or because it's not political, we're not selling something other than a committee.
I think it just has to be outside of the meeting.
Like in the hallway outside or physically outside the
You'd have
building?
to probably ask Lucy or Robert that question.
Okay. I have 3 things to follow up on. Okay.
Keep talking. We'll get you a fourth.
No worries. No worries.
And my term is up, just to throw that out there. And I haven't pulled papers yet, so, because I don't have 5 years left in me.
Can you
So-
be appointed again as you have been?
No, I ran for 1-year terms because there were terms expiring.
Mhm.
So,
So we'll appoint you for this year.
so I can either run and then with the understanding that it's not going to be 5 years, but I don't want to take somebody's spot. Or we can, so, I mean, we can talk about it afterwards, Jim, if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you have to worry about taking someone's spot. Can't get
That's
enough
right.
people on the committee.
My choice is not to leave you with 2.
Well, I think we'd become a non-functioning board if that's what
Well,
happened.
can I throw something else out there real quick on this subject? Do we have a minute?
Sure.
So I understand that Joy is a liaison, but there's nothing that prohibits her from becoming a member. Just thought I'd throw that out there, Joy.
Mhm.
So, like a voting member?
Yes. On the ballot.
This is true.
I mean, it's great that
You're
you,
already here at every
Yeah.
meeting.
I mean, you can be
True.
on more than one committee as a select board member, and I mean,
Clearly, yeah.
you're here anyway, so I'm like, why, just wanted to put that out there as a thought. And then,
Just
This is
saying.
true.
then we could have a membership of 4 voting members.
Ooh, we're gonna have some strong disagreements, 2 to 2.
Right.
Mm.
Mhm.
Who's your 2, Sierra? No.
No idea.
Are there papers? I can pull papers, right, for that?
Yes, yep.
Already? Yeah, okay. I guess I guess you guys, I will be going to town hall eventually at some point in the next couple weeks.
Because they're due at the end of the month.
Oh, shoot. Oh, yeah. I saw that Leah was running for Board of Health again. She was looking for signatures.
You've got at least 5 right here.
Wonderful.
And I'll either, I will definitely either serve 1 more year, or I will definitely serve 1 more year, one way or another.
Excellent.
All right, I will put that on my to-do list for tomorrow.
Yay.
I know if you're going to be here, Joy, you want to.
I know, I might as
Great
well.
ideas.
Right. You're
And
gonna be
it will
here.
make us look like more fun to other people who might want to join. Like, we don't want to be like desperate and too keen. We want to be like, yeah, we're cool. Like, people want to be on this board, and you should too.
And Sarah's been here quite a
No.
bit as well.
I
I just had
I mean,
Just kidding. Yes, you just joined another committee, so.
I
I
knew
should
I wanted to be a
actually hop
liaison
off
to
and-
this board before even going to a meeting. That's a lot.
do that.
Are you leaving us, Sarah, tonight?
Yeah, I was gonna jump off. It's bedtime here, so I was gonna go do that. But I will talk to you guys all later.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna jump off as well because I'm playing double team right now.
You can come. We'd have
Yeah,
to,
with Concom. They're still
have-
going over very lengthy NOIs. But
we have to
yeah,
change the date of the meeting so Joy could do both if she was a member.
if you guys want to do like the 2nd and 4th Monday, that would be great. But or earlier or later.
Jim works Jim's squeezing it in at 6, right, Jim?
Mm.
Yeah.
And Sierra maybe too, I'm not sure.
Right.
I could do a different Monday. It's
I
only
could-
1 Monday per month, so.
Right. It's 1 Monday a month, and I could do a different.
Oh, it's only
Monday.
1 Monday a month. Oh, do the
Yeah.
2nd Monday.
Yeah, we could do that. Does someone else have a conflict?
I thought there was like a town conflict, although we have 2 accounts now. So
I know that I haven't had I know next week is the only conflict because ZBA is having a meeting. But they don't have meetings. They have meetings like every quarter.
But you're not the liaison to ZBA, so.
No, I'm just going because I'm going to that meeting.
Okay, no, nothing. I'm just, because
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know who
but
the
otherwise,
liaison is,
this-
so.
That's the only meeting I've seen on my point was that's the only meeting I've seen on the second Monday from any committee.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
All right. Well, are we starting that tradition next month
well,
on
I think
April
we should
11th?
wait for Joy to
You know,
run
that's-
first. That's a negotiating.
Yeah,
tool.
you guys can schedule how you want until I get elected.
So we still have to determine next meeting date. And so
Okay.
right now it'll still be the first Monday.
6 p.m.?
Yeah.
Got it.
Confirm that's good. So I've already forgotten my third thing. I'm going to follow up on the East Street property. I'm going to email Lucy about rules at town hall, our town meeting. And
That was your
so
third thing.
that was
Yeah,
the
you
third
started
thing, but I can't remember the other two. I remember one of the other two. There's 3 total. I've got 2 here. So help me. East Street property follow up.
Mhm.
East Street property or, oh, okay, you're gonna
Yeah.
reach out to Paul.
Right.
Middle, now you won't do anything with Middle Road.
No,
Was it
Sarah's
something?
gonna-
Oh, I know what it was. It was
got a pen that doesn't work. That's
Was it
part of the
something about-
problem.
CPC or Virginia or something like that.
We were
Something else.
gonna check on the CPC funds available, right,
Yes,
Sarah?
but there was it using them for,
The percent that we could use for housing, I mean, and how to change that. with the
yeah,
community
actually, I don't know if you
preservation.
actually said you were gonna follow up on that. Maybe that was just. A
Yeah,
No, that wasn't one of them. I was
Okay.
curious. I think you could ask that, Sierra. since you-
Yes, or I
Yeah.
can just look it up. It might even just
Yeah.
be in the,
I'll send an email, unless you want to, Jim, to the treasurer collector and to Ed. I mean, I said I would do that.
Mhm. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
with this meeting's recorded, I'll look it up and I'll refresh my own brain with the recording. All right. Okay, so our next meeting date is
April 4th.
April 4. Shot rings out in a Memphis sky. Okay. It's 6 p.m. Great. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So
so
moved.
moved,
So second.
seconded.
Okay. All
night,
in favor?
everyone.
Voice vote. Good night,
Good
Joy.
night.
Good.
Sini eye. Very good. Ken, I hope it was worth your effort to stay the whole meeting with us and
It's
you
like
learned
some-
so much from us.
I'm a neighbor, so it makes sense.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.